What's going on, BE3?
What's up?
Jeff Beggins, Mike Puma here. Jeff Beggins and Mike Puma there.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified that.
Clarify
I was
that just a
very
little bit.
confused.
All right, so the topic today is, and the title today is Stop BSing Yourself About Business Planning. This time of year, it's just becoming annoying. Everyone talking about their business plan, and this guy circulates this one circulating this one, and this one and that. And I want to cut through all of the clutter and the crap and the BS on it today with Mike and start talking about what really needs to happen for you. So to just for the evergreen side of this thing, we're going to talk about the reality of you can't control your year, right? So let's first know that. So what you can control is this coming quarter. So if we want to become a little more realistic, let's talk about what are we going to be able to do for the upcoming time period. And what I want to chat about today is really relevant because of a couple of the coaching sessions I've had today and yesterday were invigoratingly annoying and exciting and frustrating, and everything all kind of rolled into one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I heard them yesterday. I heard some sitting in the office next to you that it was a different tone. It was more aggressive, more hard nosed back from your perspective back to them. But it was needed, right? Like I think it's one of those things where you don't want to have to go that route with agents,
Yeah.
but it's needed, and it's what they need, I feel like.
Well, because here's what happens, and those of you who are not in our organization, I'm sure you have, I hope you have guidance and coaching accountability that you can go to inside your organization. And when you do, you're going to go to somebody, and it always kind of starts the same way. I need a little bit of coaching. I need a little bit of direction.
Yeah.
And it always comes in with a little slouchiness, and I need a little bit of direction. Where am I going to go next, and what am I going to actually do? And so I would say, okay, tell me more. What are we doing? And I listened to all of the excuses, successes, BS, everything all kind of rolled into one. And it's, what am I going to do? I'm trying to figure out what to do. And I'm going to call total BS on this because I know you've done it too, and you do it semi-frequently. And we need to stop that because you know what to do. Right? You know what to say. You know who to say it to. You just don't do it. And so getting to the core of this is you come up with your business plan, or you come up with whatever you're trying to do to invigorate yourself, to get yourself to go to work. Let's actually talk about it. So here's what I started tearing it down to. Say, look, you know what to do. You're just not doing it. So the biggest reason why you're not doing it is because you don't have a reason why you need to, because you're comfortable. You're in a survival mode, and you may not be happy with what you have, but you're content enough with what you have that you're not willing to do the work to change the situation and get yourself to the next level. Whatever level you're at, you may not be thrilled about it, but you're okay with it. And that's the raw realness of what's going on.
Yeah, well, I think in a lot of people's circumstances, it's not even that they necessarily don't want to do the work. I think they, for whatever reason, I think it stems back to what you were saying. I think it at the end of the day, it's all self-awareness. It really is. Like if you're not being honest with what you really want, right? If you're telling yourself it's money, or you're telling yourself that it's so you can do X, but then you're not doing the things that you know you need to do to get that, I believe that's really you saying, I don't really want that. Right? Because if you really wanted that, you're going to make it happen. You're going to do it. You're going to do whatever it takes. Yeah. And so there's a mental block there.
Yeah, that's the unconscious resistance. It's that drunk monkey thing. What we did yesterday with a group of agents, what I did yesterday, actually 2 days ago with a group of agents over on the beach offices, is we went through a quick little example that I want to take you through watching because I know how relevant it was and the value that it brought to you guys. So here's what I did. I said, okay, and do this. Take a second. If you don't have anything to write down or take notes on your phone with, that's okay. You can do it later, but walk through this exercise with me. The deals that you did this year, right, coming up to this point in time, I want you to list them out. Right? 123 Oak Street, 123 Andy Street, 456 Willowbrook, whatever it was, and just write down the list of the deals that you did. And then next to it, let's write down, where did that deal come from? And this is an eye-opening experience. And of course, some of you know this, but I really want you to dig deeper and think about it, because if it came from an open house, I want you to dig deeper. Where did the listing come from that the open house generated from, right? And I want you to go to the root cause of every transaction that you have done over the course of this year or course of that quarter. And I want you to, we need to do this for a reason, because what you're going to see is going to be extremely telling. And as you look at the different sources of business, and when I was doing this with the agents I was doing it, you're seeing some are open houses, some are for sale by owners, some were spheres, some were referral business, some were all types of different business or deals. And it was really telling. I said, you did a great number of deals this year. You have a really nice number of transactions. You made decent money, but you have a really crappy business.
Yeah.
And they look at you like, what are you talking about? That's not the motivational speech I wanted, coach, right? But the reality of it is that's what you need to hear, because you don't have a business, you're doing deals.
Yeah.
Right. So what I want you guys to really think about is this, and this is the exercise we went to next. If you look at all of these deals and the sources of the business that you actually had, rate those deals. And I want you to go from a scale of 1 to 10, the easiest scale. 10 is, damn, I love those people. I love that transaction. I wish I had more of those. And the 1 is, God, I hope they never, ever call me again. I don't want to know anybody they've ever met. And I really hope they lose my number and email address completely. Right. So that's the 1. So if you start to rate your deals from the 1 to 10, then you're going to start to become even more telling about what do you actually do? Because as we've talked about before, you're going to do the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is doing what you love.
Yep.
And if you think back about the deals that you have that you love, you're going to find yourself doing more of that. Right. So here's what I did next. So we go back through and said, okay, this coming quarter, this coming year, wherever it is that you're watching this from, where the next time event is coming to you, I want you to think about this for a second. For us, we're rolling into a new year, a brand new quarter coming in here right now of where we're going. So this is what I said, okay, what type of business, notice the key word there, business, do you want to actually have in the coming year? I'm not saying how many transactions do you want to do. I want to know what kind of business do you want to do, because the biggest issue that we have is everything works, will generate a transaction, but you're going to be on the treadmill from hell, chasing the next deal, not knowing where the next deal comes from, having no peace and comfort and peace of mind at all. You're going to be in this industry struggling and aggravated across the board.
Yep.
Okay? If you keep doing what you've been doing, and I don't care if you've been doing this for 20 years, right? You know you could be a little more streamlined. So what we've been talking about is from a micro marketing perspective, niche, whatever you want to call it, what are you going to become the expert on in this coming year? The specialist, the true expert. And I want you to go back to that concept of general practitioner versus specialist, because if you're going to become a specialist in a niche, that means you have to be okay with pushing off any other business and selling that lead. So if I were to become the expert in Harbor Oaks, right, whatever neighborhood or whatever niche, or I wanted to only work with doctors, or I only wanted to work with divorce attorneys, or I only wanted to work with for sale by owners, or I only want to work with expireds, or I only want to work with social media, I only want to do Instagram, I only want to do Facebook, right? Whatever it is okay. All of them work, but what I'm challenging you, we're challenging you, is to pick one and get damn good at it.
And it's hard.
It's very hard.
It's hard, especially when you're telling a new agent or any agent that's maybe wanting more business that hasn't gotten to where they want to level-wise.
Yep.
And you're sitting there telling them, hey, don't do that deal. Refer that.
Why is it hard though? What's the draw to take all these deals?
Because they're in this business, they're in the chase for the deal, right? They're not building a business. They're living deal to deal to deal.
I think it's because I think somebody trained a lot of people improperly. And if from my opinion, because my opinion may or may not be right, or you may not like it, but my opinion is that a lot of people taught you to just go out and do deals, right? Which is fine. If a broker tells you to go do deals, because they want to do deals and through you, right? But we're talking about it from a different level, from a tribal perspective, from a connection level with you. Stop aggravating yourself and let's build a business. Let me walk you through this example real quick here. So in this coming quarter that we have right now, there are 13 weeks, right? So what we did with my group here is we said, okay, we have 13 weeks coming up here, and let's be realistic. If you're committed to a goal and a lifestyle and money and income,
Yep.
and it excites you, follow this thought process for a second. So Monday morning, if you started on Monday morning and you had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if you needed to, could you, and I want you guys to do a gut check to yourself right now, could you find one person that is ready right now to buy or sell real estate? Okay, one, right? All week. If you had to start Monday morning when you woke up and you had to, if you didn't find it Monday, you worked Tuesday. Didn't find it Tuesday, you worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Could you find one person through the entire 7-day time period that needed to sell or needed to buy a home? And I'm using the word need. I'm not using the word want, because you're full of a bunch of leads that aren't going to convert because they're not ready. Could you find one person that is ready in a 7-day time period?
You could.
You could. There's hundreds of transactions. Wherever you're watching this from, I promise you there are a couple hundred listings that come up every week in your marketplace. There's a couple hundred sales that happen in your marketplace. So you can't tell me the deals are not there. And the people who are listing are people who are listing. They could be yours too. Yeah. So if you're committed, follow the math on this one sec. So 7 days, find one person. So if you found, I'm just talking about a deal that's going to commit to you, but could you get an appointment with one person a week to talk about selling or buying a piece of property? I think the answer is yes, 100%. So if you did that and we had 13 weeks, that's 13 appointments. Now you're going to not want some, you're going to blow some aren't going to like you, and that's fine. You say you blow 5 of them out of the 13, and that's 8 transactions left. So the average check, let's go low price point, is only $5,000 a deal to you. That's a $40,000 quarter. That's $160,000 per year. After taxes, that's about $112,000. That's about $9,300 a month after tax income to you. So $9,300 a month flows into your bank account every single month on a consistent basis. Would that excite you? Now, these numbers may work for you or they may not work for you, but I suspect that many watching, $9,300 a month would be acceptable earnings, right? So if you were to back that up and say, I know that there are going to be hundreds of new listings. I know there's going to be hundreds of sales, and I know that I'm good enough to get in front of the people. You don't even need the deal. You just need to get in front of them. So that's the key. And we all know the answer is yes, we could do this. And we all know that $9,300 a month would be great. Or if it's not enough for you, then you're going to have to find 2 people and make $18,000 a month, right? So, or find 3.
So let's play this out though. I'll play devil's advocate with the agent.
Yep.
So I'm an agent. I need one.
Yep.
How many people do you think I need to talk to, communicate with in regards to real estate to get one to go actually sit across from them in the living room and actually have that conversation?
Here, you want the real answer to that?
Yeah.
As many as freaking humanly possible and necessary to get the transaction, right? Because you can't answer that question. The crystal ball is not working, and I don't know. Some of it's luck, and some of it's a universal power, or some of it is just being at the right place at the right time, but it's absolutely a numbers game. And I was talking with an agent today that wanted direction and guidance, and I called out directly that you're not talking to enough freaking people. How many people did you talk to and have a real estate conversation? Well, I passed out flyers. That's not what I asked. How many people did you talk with and have a real estate conversation, guys? And here's the challenge I have with social media, right? People thinking, oh, I post and I got a bunch of likes. That's not a freaking contact. Right? That is a branding, lead gen, maybe a teaser.
It's a pipeline builder.
It's a pipeline builder, but it's not a contact. I got 87 likes. That's not a freaking contact.
No.
It's, hey, thanks for the like. What's going on in your world?
Especially, let me caveat that, especially if you're not using social media the way that it is actually designed to be used, which is not to show everyone a picture of what you ate for dinner last night.
Right.
It's designed for you to build awareness and then retarget off the awareness. I see so many people that post.
Say that again, because I think it's a very
build awareness and then retarget off of that awareness, and that means that you're spending money. And this is the biggest confusion I have with agents, because I talk to them like, well, I posted a video. I'm like, awesome. Do we actually run an ad with that video? Do we put any dollars behind it? And not in a boosted post. Right. An actual ad
with strategy,
right? With strategy behind it. Because here's the thing: what they do is they post this one video, and the algorithms are what they are, guys. They're free, so you can't complain about it. But you're not going to get that much exposure from a free video, especially if the content's not very good. So the reality is, will you get some? Yes. Will you get some likes? Absolutely. But to truly capitalize on that, you have to then build an audience of all those people that engaged and re-engage them with a different piece of content or a lead gen ad. But you have to spend dollars to do that. Not a lot. $5 a day could do it.
Right. Let's go even simpler than that. Let's say that one of the other agents I was coaching yesterday has got several thousand people following her and friends on Facebook, in addition to Instagram. And she grew up in the local community and she knows a lot of people, right?
Yep.
So don't even worry about the point. What you're saying is absolutely right. But step back and do the baby step. The baby step is when she posts a video of some type of relevance, she gets probably 40, 50 comments, right?
Which is good.
Which is very good. And she gets a lot of likes, or hundreds of likes. So those are people that are on your team. That's your real market. Those are your real friends. That's your real people to connect with. But real estate isn't just likes and stuff. It's got to be the hand-to-hand combat to talk to those people. So when Susie comments back on your post, the real game is to engage with Susie and find out what's going on with Susie, stalk her page, see what her kids are up to, talk with her, and ultimately the conversation comes around to, Susie, you know a freaking ton of people I don't know, right? I want you to make sure that you think about me when you think about real estate. So when you're at a freaking Christmas party and someone tells you they're getting divorced, they need to sell the house, it pops up that you need to call this agent, right? All we're doing is creeping into the minds and owning that real estate category inside their brain. That's all we're doing. It's just repetitive and it's getting over and over and over. It's the dripping. It's becoming top of mind awareness is the whole name of this game. But you can't just post and sit and see a like and say, ooh, success. No, it's that next step of engagement. It's how are you doing? What's happening?
You're 100% right. But it's also engaging with transparency on yourself and what you actually want. Right? Because I see this so often, people posture, right? So let's play this out because I see this every day.
Yep.
I post, we haven't talked in a while, you comment, right? Now I do what you say to do. I reach out, right? And I say, hey, Jeff, what's going on, man? How you been? Right? And then your natural reaction is going to be the same thing back. Hey, how have you been? How are things going? Now, if I really want that, if I really want you to refer to my friends, right, the actual response should be, man, everything's good, family's good, but, really getting going in the real, especially if I'm new, right? Be honest, getting going in real estate, really working hard. I'm on a mission to help as many people as I can this year to buy or sell their house. Man, it would mean the world to me if you knew anyone that I could help, that I can add to that list. I'd really appreciate it, right? That's the conversation we should have because that's ultimately what I want, right? And I'm being transparent with you. Here's what most people do. Oh, man, things are great. I'm so busy, man. I can't even breathe. I don't even know whether I am or I'm not, right? Now, what does that tell the other person? Oh, man, he's too busy.
You don't need help.
Yeah. Now, in your head, you're thinking, oh, yeah, he's going to think I'm doing really well and that I'm selling a lot of real estate and, I'm crushing it, so he should refer me people, right? That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
People want to help people.
Yeah. So one of two things. Either you're going to think I'm way too busy, right? Or deep inside, if you're not having as good of a year, you might be like, fuck him, man.
Yeah.
Like man, I guess he doesn't need the help, right? Like it's that lack of transparency when you're building and having those conversations.
Well, let's talk about that because you don't want to pounce too hard. If I haven't talked to you for a while and I send you a messenger and say, oh, how are you doing, Mike? What's going on? Hey, by the way, I need some business because you're dead. That was an insincere posturing move that's going to be called out as bullshit and self-serving 100%. And greedy.
Absolutely.
And you're dead.
Absolutely.
So what's this time of year? We're heading into a Christmas time here, holiday time, a chill out time for a lot of people. Yeah. Let's talk about the hand-to-hand combat. What is a realistic thing to start maybe? Because we're having a lot of good success with people reaching out on Messenger and just texting back and forth. So what's a good intro to people that you haven't really spoken with in a while to try to start to re-engage that relationship? Let's talk about that.
I mean, it could be anything, right? I think it starts, obviously the most organic way to start that conversation is by putting out content to get people to engage with it, which gives you a reason to then reach out. And when you do reach out, it can be as something as, hey, how's the family? I see the kids are getting so big. What's on their Christmas list, right? What's the big toy this year?
Yeah.
Like anything like that that's going to start the conversation, but it's got to be about the relationship building, not, hey, by the way, do you want to sell your house or own it? Like you can't instantly go there. You're 100% right.
Now the subtlety though is important. Like for example, if we were talking about anything else right now, right behind me is a logo of Century 21, right?
Yeah.
That means real estate. So the simple things for you to do, if you haven't done this already, your profile pictures, stand in front of your office sign, right? Because when they see your message or they see your comment, at worst case scenario, if I'm looking behind Mike right now and I see the Century 21 logo right behind his head, that's going to just subtly just remind me that he's doing real estate, right? He doesn't even have to say it. So anytime he likes anything that I'm doing and I see his picture and I click on it, I'm going to start to think about real estate. So that's not going to be the only sale, but that's the things that are pounding out. So think about what your profile picture is, right, on Facebook, and what your main page is, your picture is on Instagram too, and LinkedIn, because that's the subtlety. Because all we're doing is building brand awareness and to reconnect and make people think about you when they think about real estate. So this time of year, what I see a lot of people getting tripped up about is they don't want to talk with people, or what do I do when they say they're happy and they don't want to move, or they don't know anybody, right? A lot of people will just peace out of the conversation and they're gone. Yeah. Right. So where they're really missing the ball, in my mind here, is repositioning themselves in the mind of everybody that you know. As this market's shifting, which it is shifting, and it's just shifting from a months on the market time on the market situation, but it's not going to be as brisk a pace of sales as we need to. So we're going to have to collect and connect with more people to do the same number of transactions, right? So that's something you need to go into this next year knowing fair well that you need to collect and connect, something we've been talking about. So if I'm talking with Mike and he says, dude, we love our house, kids are fine in school, everything is good, work's solid, everything's good, we're not moving anywhere, we love the neighborhood, sure, we'd love to have a bigger house in a different area, but this is going to work fine for the next several years, we're not moving, period, right? So I could say, oh, that's great, bye, think about me. Or I could say, dude, listen, you know what I do. I'm in real estate. And when your hot water heater breaks, or you have a question about your roof, or you need a coconut tree, or your fence falls down, or you're looking for a garbage disposal, or an electrician, or a plumber, or anything at all, you need to put me in your phone as anything house related. You better call me, because I have the experts, I have the people, I have the connections. Anything you need, I got your back, right? That's my sale. Right, that is my sale. It's only a positioning sale. It's the only thing I'm doing with you. That's it. Done.
Well, and also what you're also doing in that is one of the biggest leaders to someone actually deciding to move, besides work and family size, is major repairs and things that come up, right? So if you get them in the habit of calling you when something goes wrong, and a series of events happens where the AC goes out and they have to replace it, and then something happens to the roof, or the neighbor next to them had, their house broken into, and now all of a sudden they're buying a new alarm.
The seeds planted.
It's all starting to run through their head of, you know what? Forget this place. Let's just sell it and move on.
What do you think it's worth, honey? Let's find out.
You're going to be their first phone call because you were there along the way. You need to go on that customer journey with them, and this is a journey. This is not a sprint. And that's where I think a lot of people screw up.
Here's where they also screw up, because the way it was before is you would say, hey, honey, let's call Jeff. But the reality today is you bust out your phone when you're laying in bed and you flip open Zillow and you see what your estimate is. And Zillow sends you an email that says, hey, your price went up, right? And so now you're like, oh, I know what my house is worth, ballpark, right? So then right away, you've knocked me out of contention unless I become relevant and stay top of mind. So how do you become relevant and stay top of mind? It's actually to become relevant and stay top of mind. And that just doesn't happen like with poof, with the magic wand, guys. You have to say, hey, I'm relevant, remember me, right? And you can't just run by and grab their shoulder and shake them like that. You got to put out some content. You've got to be relevant. You got to be touching people and talking to them. So when real estate comes around in his world, he opens up that file cabinet I always talk about, and inside that filing cabinet in the real estate file, there's only room for one person. And if it's not you, you're dead.
So I know with my parents, their agent, so they bought a house a couple of years ago, right?
Mhm.
Sold their other house, bought a house up on a lake in Virginia.
Mhm.
Their agent, I think it's every other month, sends them an updated full analysis of where their home value currently is every other month.
Yep.
With a little note, handwritten, that just says, hey, Pat and Kevin, just wanted you to know that home value's gone up a little bit more. Hope everything is well. If I can do anything for you at all, please let me know. Boom. Every other month, right? It's a touch point.
He owns them.
Yes, because that agent knows that if she can constantly stay in front of my parents, which now it's happened already, right? Now they're thinking, well, you know what? We bought off of the lake. We have a great lake view. Maybe we want to be on the lake, and it's already crept in their head.
How much equity do we have? What if we were to put that down? I wonder what does that cost
Right.
on the lake? What would our monthly payment be?
Right. Now, listen to this. I had to fight my parents that they should actually let me try and help them find an agent up there because they already had this woman who's been constantly, and my dad was literally fighting me. He's like, man, I want to use you, but you know, we've got a good relationship and I like her, and she's not like, I had to fight my own parents. So like, you know, it's one of those things where if you build that you want to build loyalty, that's how it's done. You have to find a touch point, and stay top of mind and find your way to do it, whether that's, you know, notes, depending on how big your database is. But from what I understand, that agent literally does that.
Oh, sure.
Every single one of her people. So they always know every month or so what their home is worth, because you never know what's going on in their world. And by her letting them know how much equity is in that house,
it starts a thought.
It's a thought, right? And then if the situation arises where they do need to move or they want to look around, she's their call, because she's the one keeping them informed. It's an interesting game, but it's one that has to be played.
So rolling into this time relevance right now, the best play from your perspective on how to reach out and send the message in a time when they're really not thinking about real estate, but we still want to make sure we get a top of mind thought. What should we be doing? What should agents be doing to create relevance and a great touch point around the holidays that's not going to get cluttered?
You know, my advice would be go look at the type of content that we're even putting out on the Century 21 Instagram, Facebook page. Look at that type of stuff. And what you're going to find is it's lighthearted. It's humorous, right?
There's no ask.
Some of it's real estate, but it's not really, right? What we're really focusing on are things that I know the audience, our client base, is going to relate to this time of year, right? So a lot of inside jokes about family and having, you know, family time is great, but it also makes you want to drink a ton of wine, right? Like, it's all that kind of stuff that's going now. At the end of every video, our logo's there. It's on our page. But look at the engagement rates we're getting. It's a ton, right? So it's just keeping that brand awareness going in a very subtle way. So you're bringing them humor, you're bringing them laughter, you're bringing them, you know, the holiday in a very innocent kind of subtle way.
Which helps you just linger and creep in the background is really the whole.
That's it.
So be an appropriate creeper is what you're saying.
Not the words I use, but I appreciate you putting them in my mouth. Also a statement I should not have made. Anyways, so this is actually the bigger point that I think is my big gripe, is the reason so many of you struggle with this time of year of reaching out to clients is because you feel like it's very salesy, right? I hear this all the time. Oh, I don't want to reach out to them because I feel sales. No matter what I message, I feel salesy. Do you know why you feel salesy? Because you're reaching out to them once a year. That's why you feel salesy. Business. Yes. Yeah. If you were posting and reaching out consistently, you wouldn't feel salesy because it would be a normal practice.
Right.
So if you really want to stop that, if you want to stop feeling so salesy, start bringing value every day or every week or very often as you can, because it will solve that problem, guaranteed.
One last thing I want to make sure we drive home right now, as we are heading to the holidays here right now, is we have to get way stronger. We just do. You have to be stronger with your customers. brokers are watching, get stronger with your agents. Agents get stronger with yourself, right? And stop the BS, right? This is the time. If Mike was thinking about selling his house and he's one of my listing leads and he says, oh, Jeff, there's holidays coming. Let's wait till after the first of the year. I could be like everybody else, okay, call you, have a happy holiday, bye, Merry Christmas, right? Or I could say, hey, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. Right?
I'd be mean and I would cry.
It would be mean and you might cry, but you deserve to hear this because it's in your best interest. The only people looking for houses during the holidays are serious freaking people. And if there's fish swimming down your street and you don't have a hook in the water, that makes you fucking stupid. Excuse my language. But you can drop that out of your conversation if you want to. But it is what it is. I can't sugarcoat it. It's stupid to not put a sign up that at least says coming soon to let the buyer know that your house is a consideration in the future when he's getting a job transfer and needs to move here. It's dumb. Totally dumb. I don't mean you have to show it every week or clean your house. I can restrict showings, but we're putting a damn sign up. You hired me for a reason because you want to sell your house, put money in your pocket, right? Do you want to wait for the market to get flooded with other properties so you're just totally buried in an inventory pile? Or do you want to actually be there when a real buyer is cruising down the street? Shut up and sign the damn contract and let's get started, right? You can soften it to your style, but I could say that to him if he was my listing lead because I say that's dumb. Don't do it because I know that I'm right. For you in your situation, in your neighborhood, with your inventory and your competition, to not be on the market is dumb, right? Tell them that. Tell them that. And push it, guys. Get the inventory. You're going to need it. And do not take the inventory unless it is priced reasonably, guys. You're going to be aggravating yourself like you've never seen in this coming year if you don't get strong on pricing. And if you don't know how to get strong on pricing, take the time to get strong on pricing. You better learn your inventory. It's all supply and demand, and you need to have this rough conversation and say, Mike, you're competing with these 3 houses. This one here on Oak Street is the one most closest to yours. That's your direct competitor. The kitchen's nicer. It just is, and the yard is a corner, and it's got a better view. It's a nicer house than yours. You're not going to sell for more than that one. You're just not. So if you don't like that, don't list it right now. Let's take it off the market, and let's wait till he sells. Or go head to head. But if you're going to beat that one, we need to be priced under this one because why are we going to try to make yours nicer than this one? The only way yours is more attractive is your price is lower. Or I've got to tell this straight story
and say, hey, it's going to sit on the market a little longer, but we go significantly above that one, make that how
force that one to sell.
That one make it look really attractive.
Yep.
And then when it's gone, we're going to agree that we're going to come back down to that. To where they were or just below it, and then we're going to sell.
That's right. What we're doing is the shift that recent shift here is going from the conversation from pricing to positioning, right? So we're going to position you in the market in a certain way. You're going to be either positioned to be the one house that's not going to ever sell, or you're going to be positioned to be the house that's going to sell next, or you're going to be the position to be selling right around when these guys and go head to head. So get really strong, and guys, work. Right now, work right now. Be up until the Christmas time when you're going to take some family time, do it. But before now and the time you're really going to take off, work because your competition's sleeping.
Or don't, but don't complain about it.
Or don't complain about it.
That's the biggest issue I have is for a lot of you want the time off and then you take it and then you complain that your business isn't where you want it to be. If you're happy, you're like, I'm going to go take the rest of December off and kick it back into gear in January and everything is good and I'm happy where I'm at and I had a good year, more power to you. Enjoy the holiday. But if you're not going to work right now and then complain that your business is not where you want it to be, I literally want to punch you in the face. So I will end it with that.
That wasn't very nice. That was very nice. All right. So moral of the story. Be real, guys. Be self-aware. Know your deal. Stop BSing yourself. Get seriously honest with yourself about what is this next year going to be? What kind of lifestyle do you want to fund? And get serious. Don't put the BS number that you think somebody else wants to hear. Figure out how much money do you think you need to bring in to make your family's lifestyle bigger. And I'll end on one thing from a coaching thing I had yesterday. I had an agent that was sitting in my office, and we were talking about the business plan and getting the plan together and what do we need to do. And it got raw and it got brutal. It really did. And I did it because I think she's a great agent. And I said, you're being lazy and you're being selfish, and your family deserves more than you're providing right now, right? You brought kids into this life, into this world, and you owe it to them to give them a fighting chance in the best possible everything you possibly can. So to not have the home environment that they deserve is a failure, right? To not provide the funding for educational options is a failure, and it is your fault because you're good enough and you know enough people and you know how to execute this business like nobody else. So stop making excuses, stop being lazy, get your ass up and talk to people. Because when you do that, you're going to have more business, you're going to know what to do with, the money's going to flow, and all of your issues are going to subside. But you have to get up and make a commitment and saying, I'm going to connect with X number of people a day, and do not go home until you connect with X number of people a day. And it's tough, and you've got to have your schedule organized, and you've got to get consistent if you're going to run a business. Okay. You can delete everything that I've said if you just want to do deals. You want to do deals here and there, keep doing whatever you're doing. You can do deals here and there until you get knocked out of the industry. But if you want to get serious and run a business, you need to get serious, pick a niche, and get big time focused on what you're doing, why you're doing it, and figure out who is relying on you, what's responsible, and what do you deserve, and what it's all about. So go deep inside, think about what you deserve and what people around you deserve. Figure out how many transactions it is. Make sure you have the support mechanism around you to keep you focused and accountable, and enjoy it and do it. And I'm not going to say happy holidays yet because we're not done working yet.
Yep, we're not there yet.
So we'll talk with you next week.
See you next week.
Reach
We
out,
have a
let us know
special
what we
one
need.
next week.
We do. We're going to have some fun with you guys next week.
Come ready to laugh.
Thanks.
All right, see you guys.